It is October 5th, 2020. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast. I'm Glenn Rubenstein, joined by Matt Morgan and Justin LaBar, because Raj Giri couldn't be bothered. We had him last night, and he was like, I'm good.
But he still watched. I tweeted him like 15, 20 minutes ago. I was like, dude, I'm filling in for you. Go do anything else. I don't want to see you tweeting about Raw.
He's six drinks deep.
Yeah, and that's just insulting. If you're going to skip the podcast, don't watch the show. I don't want to see you tweeting about the show or talking about the show.
Right.
Because I could have skipped the podcast tonight if he was going to watch the show. No.
All right, so half truth. I'm on the podcast tonight just to say happy birthday to Siri Hoffman. Just how big you again, Glenn.
Oh, you got me first. Happy birthday, Siri. Thank you. We got the request today on Twitter. Thank you for your participation and fandom of this show. But hey, tonight we got to do something real talk. We said weeks ago that we would give WWE creative
go ahead,
huge credit and major props if Ali was the leader of Retribution this somehow tied into the Hacker storyline. Now, they didn't go all in with the Hacker tonight, but I have a feeling when he cuts that promo on Friday or Monday when he explains himself, I have a feeling they're going to tie it all together in a nice little package. If
they do, holy bleep.
Yeah.
Like, I'm being serious. I know people are like, oh, it's Ali. Why is he the lead? But this is good. This is good. I was telling the guys before the show, I think this is amazing for his character because when you have those baby faces that you see WWE's not doing right by, namely Sami Zayn in the past, definitely Ali as well. Ali is a stud baby face waiting to happen. Well, why is he a baby face? Because WWE dropped the ball with him, in my opinion. With that said, now that he's a heel, as we've seen, WWE gives them way more creative freedom on promos. They seem to put more energy into heel promos than they do babyface promos. And it's because of this. In the long run, this is going to make Ali a mega babyface, I hope and pray, because he's going to get more comfortable on the microphone. He's going to start to learn who he is as a man and then as a character. And we're going to see it before our very eyes. You mark my words. And when the time comes for him to be babyface, we already know that kid could sell his tail off. He's amazing. His offense is amazing. He's just a great babyface. And I think it will register more when it's time for him to be babyface in the future. But for now, this is one hell of a spot for him. And I'm happy for him personally. I am.
Yeah, with the reveal, there very easily could have been a reveal of a leader where we all just go, for F's sake. But you know what? I'm not going to say this is a home run, but I'll say this is very much I'll tune in next week. And that's a great.
I'm more excited for him, I think, than what I said. If the leader needs to be like Miz or like a main event act. I remember me saying in the past, so I don't want to be completely contradictory on it. But I mean, one, I was unexpecting this. Two, this is intriguing as crap to me. This is intriguing.
Yeah.
And I pray, Glenn, I just get my hopes up for nothing, that they somehow, like you said, wrap that bow and bring it back to that storyline with the Hacker somehow, some way.
All he has to say is, for months, I told you I was going to expose this company.
I will bow to them on the air and say, good job, WWE Creative.
Well,
you're the best. I'm the worst. You're handsome. I'm ugly.
You're smart. I'm stupid. You're big. I'm small.
Yes.
I'll say this too with the Hacker thing. It would at least answer a lot of the questions of like, well, how do they get the logo on the screen? How do they flicker the lights? If they would tie it back.
Totally.
Again, they're both hands, supporting hand and questionable hand of the decision is full for me. We'll get to it when we get to the segment. But again, I go back to, for those who check this podcast out, thank you, and you don't always watch Raw. I do think tonight's Raw had enough content where it is worth you going and viewing and making up your mind. That's not to say it was all good, and we'll break down some critiques tonight, but I think there was a lot in certain stories where it's like, you know what, it's worth watching it. Don't just read
newsworthy. I thought it was newsworthy.
Yeah, don't just read the recap. Watch and see how it unfolded and make up your mind.
I thought it was a high point of the show, especially with going into the draft. Kind of tells you like we're on the last legs of a lot of these feuds. Things are going to shake up soon. This was good tonight. But Matt, to your point, I think Retribution was DOA for a couple of weeks because those silly masks and T-Bar and Mace and Slapnuts or whatever, out there, or pardon me, Slapjack.
I call them Slapnuts.
But I think that was just flatlining, and this reinvigorates it. This is just a shot in the arm, and I think it's going to be really good. I'm really into it. And I think all he has to say in his promo is, I tried to tell you months ago that I was going to expose this company, and instead I decided to get Retribution. Just boom. All he has to do is make that illusion, and we'll all be like, yay, WWE, you're so brilliant. Vince McMahon, you're a genius.
I really will.
Here's the biggest critique I actually had was the fact that it didn't end the show. They did that, and then they tried to follow up and say, oh, tune into the 6-man tag. And I'm like, oh,
no,
yeah, right.
No, I don't want to. Stop the show right now, please. Right. This is really good.
Yeah. Yes. So before we get into tonight, speaking of last night's show, here's Zach Eisendrath, $4.99.
Zach, there we go. Thank you. That's all I want to remember your name. Zach is her boyfriend, and he's the one who told me to say happy birthday. So, Siri, it's all from your awesome, badass boyfriend, Zach.
The video message.
What happened? I missed this. I
wasn't on Twitter.
Zach came on Twitter today, and he told us that it was his girlfriend Siri's birthday. Siri's a huge fan of the show. Writes to us on Twitter, makes comments and stuff. Likes our crappy posts. It's one of our go-to fans that are always within our timelines on Twitter talking.
Nice. Well, happy birthday.
Yeah. And Zach asked how we feel about Ali leading Retribution. I think So last night we talked about NXT TakeOver. I don't know, Matt, if you saw that Raj Giri tweeted today after Raj said NXT is his least favorite wrestling show.
Did he get beat up?
No, he got Raj tweeted, yikes, got a pretty nasty text from an NXT star regarding what I said about NXT on last night's podcast. Just want to make it clear that wasn't about the talent, but how it's treated. So I said to Raj, can you
don't walk it back. # don't walk it back.
Well, I said to Raj, can you text that talent back and say, yeah, but Glenn's funny though, right? And make some interesting observations. I mean,
did you see what Glenn? Did you see one of
the rest of us love that show?
Yes.
Glenn, did you see one of the? Because I saw that tweet. One of the replies to that tweet was, "It had to be Shotzi. Glenn outed you."
Who knows? Yeah. So I mean, look, TakeOver last night. I was thinking about it, and I was like, "There's nothing wrong with the wrestling we saw last night. The matches were good. It was just kind of, it was there."
The creative that they put into the women's division, they need to put into the entire show. The entire roster is what if I had to make a complaint, that's what it was. But again, I always look at the main event as the last taste in your mouth about a show or pay-per-view. That's why I'm pissed off they ended it with a 6-man tonight on Raw. But nonetheless, this still was a newsworthy show to me. This was a good show. Much better than I said it would be tonight. So I'm happy about that.
Justin Lopez, $5 saying, didn't watch Raw tonight. The Yankees were on, but I saw what went down with Ali. They should definitely tie the hacker stuff. Only makes sense.
Yeah, man.
Anthony Wise, super chat saying, told you Glenn the hacker. Look, and if you guys want them to tie in the hacker thing, you need to be tweeting about this and talking about this and tweeting at Ali and tweeting at WWE. Yes. Like, they're going to acknowledge this because it's such low-hanging fruit. It costs them no calories to do this.
It does. So, guys, go bonkers on their Twitter with this, please.
Yes. And Chrono Shop pointing out that MVP T-Bar teabag tonight. So there you go.
That huge pop for that. I popped for that.
Yeah, there were some okay things tonight, I thought. But yeah, there was just some stuff that just felt inessential. So let's talk about the show. And we opened with Randy Orton backstage talking about how at Clash of the Champions he didn't leave with the title, talking about the payback he got from some people he wronged last week. Or at Clash of the Champions, and then the payback he got on them when they were celebrating poker at the end of last week's Raw. And so, was I correct in hearing? Yes, I was, because it's here on the Wrestling Inc. recap. It's going to be Drew versus Randy, Hell in a Cell, at Hell in a Cell. Then Drew attacked backstage.
Yeah, there you go. I know it's like, again, but Hell in a Cell, I'm hoping, and I think it will, they'll book it this way, we will see another gear of Drew. Do you guys remember when Drew went heel and he was just bloodying everybody up? He was just like nuking Moxley and just killing people off sides of stages and stuff like that at the Titantron and stuff. Like, I think they can have him go into that gear because I do think his babyface character needs this gear, that this match will help give him. I know it's a repeat. I know it's Orton again. It may seem stale, but I think for him as a champion, this could help him.
Yeah, this will be a third pay-per-view marquee match for them, but I'm okay. And I have a soft spot for Randy Orton in the sense of I just think that what he does is so damn good that I'll give a little bit more leeway. And I'm a Drew fan as well. I thought, and I agree with Matt, I think there's going to be another gear that's going to be shown, and Hell in a Cell is the perfect time to show it. By the way, Hell in a Cell, shout out. It was 23 years ago to this day. Kane made his debut at the Hell in a Cell match between. So I tweeted it. I tweeted at the good mayor the trivia of that one.
You should have freaking tweeted Cornette. He came up with the whole damn storyline.
It's one. And I tweeted. I know there's some fan. I'm getting older. We're all getting older. There's some fans that weren't watching or weren't alive. If you didn't see it,
wow,
it's one of the greatest backstories and debuts ever in pro wrestling.
And Kane, when I know it's kind of I say when it's all said and done, but like he is retired per se. He'll wrestle every once in a blue moon, but his character does not get nearly enough props.
No,
as one of the most coolest developed
evolution of the character.
Yeah,
evolution of it. But real quick, but back to Randy and Drew. Yes. I like this open. I know last week we were a little bit divided among the going in the dark and Randy Orton beating the people up. I thought him reliving and telling us what we didn't see, kind of like the killer telling how he handled his victims. There was a creepiness vibe to it. I dug. And then here's what I like that Drew came in the room, because here's the thing. We're in the Thunderdome. We're in the same place every week. Randy's telling us he's in the same room where the legends are playing poker. So it makes sense. If he's telling you all these clues of where the hell he's at, Drew, the babyface, should show up and try to beat his ass. That made total sense. That was actually a huge left turn to what WWE normally does. Normally it's like, why didn't somebody come confront him?
Or
so
worse,
I'm glad they did this.
Or worse, they're in the ring cutting a promo.
Right.
But because the guy's backstage in a locker room, and the guy in the ring, the babyface is watching it, those wrestling ropes create this imaginary force field that for whatever reason, the babyface can never just go right through the ropes, go to the back, and go kick his ass.
Yes. So I like, this helped. This was good. This made total sense. I was fine with this.
Yeah. That's a good detail. Good call.
Yeah. So we have more of the show to get to. Raj has got like the greatest gig on earth that he doesn't show up tonight, and people are just tossing money at these super chats. Joe Tremonte, $5, saying should have put the belts on the Riot Squad and actual tag team, then get Shayna and Nia back in the Raw title picture. I thought they looked good tonight. We'll talk about that.
Yeah, I like them a lot as a tag team. From day one when I saw them in the ring and how freaking brutal they are. They're freaking brutal, dude. They kick people's asses, and I believe it.
And Jackson Counts, you didn't have to pay to tell us this, but thank you. I would have read it anyhow. Jackson saying, life is beautiful for me right now. Thank you, Matt and Glenn, personally, and this podcast overall being a positive outlet. Much love. Always stay safe. Thank you, Jackson. Glad to hear you're doing well, man.
Hell yeah, Jackson. Seriously, awesome stuff, man.
Matt, your favorite screen name, John Cena's Bald Spot, $5, saying flip back and forth between the Yankees game and Raw. Yeah. Huge GS by Stanton. Saw the Ali stuff. Good move by them making him the leader. Hope they don't screw it up.
Stanton's a beast, by the way. I just want to point that out. Go ahead.
Spaceman 584, $1.99, long time. So, I want, again, long time, first time. I want that in every comment. Long time. So, Raj, words do have movement. I'm assuming it means
Spaceman. Let's calm down here. Let's not get out of control here and blow up Raj's little head here.
Raj, stop listening to the podcast because I'm going to put him over for a second.
Stop making fake names, Raj, and using. I'm joking.
Raj has been doing this 20 years. Credit to him that he shares this platform with us. This podcast would be nowhere near the size it is without being on the Wrestling Inc. site, the Wrestling Inc. YouTube. And I'm always impressed because I just think, Matt, don't get me wrong. I mean, when we leave and go do our own thing, we're still going to do well. I'm just saying we're not going to do quite as well as the audience size here. We'll make more money, but our audience will be smaller.
Everything.
Yeah, and we'll get to talk about whatever we want. But look, I think that it's hard for me because I think of Raj in a certain way, knowing him. But when I was at StarCast with him and seeing wrestlers recognizing him and knowing who he is, it's like, dude's paid his dues and been around. So yeah, people pay attention, man.
He has, and let me put it in proper perspective. When I was wrestling, I knew who Raj was. In my day and age of wrestling, you wouldn't be caught dead talking to wrestling websites and stooge sites, as we used to call them, in negative terms like that, because you were considered a stooge by doing so. Because wrestling, even though it was out of the cat was out of the bag, we were still somewhat protective of it.
Mm-hmm.
But Raj was one of them. Jason Powell was one of them that I got along great with, and they were just normal guys. They were my introduction that these guys are just like me. They're wrestling fans just like I was growing up. The only difference is I was 7 feet, 200 pounds, became one. But their fandom's the same as mine. It's no goddamn different. But the fact that Raj was over even back then says a lot. Today's wrestler, though, is even, I will argue, it's now reversed. You kiss my fat hot dog fingers, folks, but I'm making reverse motion here. Meaning that I will argue the wrestlers mark out for the we would call them dirt sheets, the internet wrestling website owners and writers.
I'll complete the trifecta putting over Raj. I joined Wrestling Inc. 3 years ago this month, actually. It's been 3 years this month. And prior to that, I was at a different wrestling website for many years. And even while at that competitor website, I always got to know in the circle how Raj operated, how he was viewed, and I always was like, you know what? If I wasn't going to be where I'm at this moment, that's the guy I'd go work for, and then it ended up working out that way. So Raj is, I'll give him a lot of props.
And that's a great one. And I will also remind everybody, and I learned this when I was still wrestling. Raj would need 2 backups, sometimes 3, before he would print something that no other sites were printing. So a lot of the news he breaks on this site is not just because one wrestler called and said it. It's because he got 2 to 3 different wrestlers to contribute towards that, whatever the rumor is and whatever he's putting on that's newsworthy on Wrestling Inc. So when he breaks news, it's not like the other copy and paste sites that just jack it off of his page and other pages with just one source. Raj's is always 2 to 3 sources. He's always been like that. I've always respected that as a wrestler.
It's true. The other sites are just jacking Raj off. With a counterpoint, we'll save future nice words for Raj for his birthday.
Folks, get your blue chew.
Yeah. With a counterpoint, DNA of TNA Morgan fan $5 saying, thank gosh, 3 of the best guys on the live stream are like Raj, but boring. Well, there you go.
Yes.
What's up, Matt? I think Ali will say in the promo he's the one cutting the lights to tie in.
Just as quick as we set Raj up, the super chats bring him down.
Boom.
But that $5 goes to Raj. So who's really winning?
Yeah, right.
I needed that. So thank you. No,
if anyone want personally just toss $20 bills at me while you roast me, like feel free, man. Bring it on.
They will on our what's it called?
Patreon.
I can't even freaking say. I can't even plug something.
Our Twitch channel, our OnlyFans. Ryan Ricardo.
Raj is going
to take over ours.
Raj will pull a Vince McMahon. He'll take our revenue from that.
Yes.
Ryan Ricardo, $4.99. Hey, Glenn, first time, long time. Thank you. First live watch. Wow, welcome. Enjoy my money. Stay safe, boys. Thank you, Ryan.
Raj, enjoy your money.
Ryan.
How heavy? Back to the whole source thing, because Matt's right. I can tell you this. Raj does try to get multiple sources, which is, I have a journalism degree. It's the way you're supposed to do it. And it's ironic that Raj has been the lead on the story of Vince and the third-party streams. Raj has been the guy breaking all of it. And then Meltzer, everybody else has aggregated and picked up after that. How ironic. Raj has been in the lead of that story, and I can definitely see it. The 3 of us go to a side project, and Raj is going to ask for
I'm calling Andrew Yang. I'm getting him on our side.
What's this blueprint business? Matt, you came up with that on Wrestling Inc. I own it.
I don't know if you saw today. Do you have in the news about Paige? Said she's been learning about unionism today, and she's following like a union organizer who organizes like fighters unions and stuff.
She's following a lawyer who represents
union organizers.
What do you mean follow?
On Twitter.
She tweeted today. Because she's one of the ones who is going to suffer severely out of the WWE coming in on your streaming.
She's not with them anymore, I thought. Why is she?
She still is. She still is she's not an active talent, but she's still like a legend. So she's been one that's going to be affected a lot, and she has been vocal. She tweeted, as Glenn said, she learned a lot about unionism. She has had some other tweets that have been kind of like hinting at like bucking against the system, and she had a follow. She followed a Twitter account of a lawyer who like specializes in sports and like union representation.
So I'm really going to reach here, all right?
Hmm.
But when you question, sometimes, guys, when life hands you a crap sandwich and you're like, why is this happening? And you don't get to see the other side, the other end of that rainbow, per se, until like years later. Usually, there's always a rhyme and reason why life hands you a crap sandwich back in the day or currently. There's always a reason why everything happens, right? Who's to say that what happened to Paige, right? We all did. I cried. I was terrible. What happened to her career? She's a personal friend, and it sucked watching, especially in the prime of her career. But who's to say that she's not the one in the catalyst that moves this forward with the news you just shared with me? That is huge news, you guys. Huge news, because she's under contract and still doing something like this.
Yeah.
This could be the one that breaks the camel's back, the straw that breaks the camel's back, so to speak. And they do go in this route, maybe. Who knows? That'd be incredible.
She would leave a bigger mark on the business for that.
No question.
It would
And
be.
yeah. I mean, she did a lot. She did a lot of things. I mean, I remember watching her in New Orleans debut the night after Mania 30. She's had a huge career as a performer for as young as she was. The Rock made a freaking movie on it. It is fitting that. What if she goes on to? Yeah. Here's the thing I'll say about this, Matt, and I want to get your opinion real quick, and then we'll get back on track. 'Cause you're a former talent. And Mark Madden has always said this. I have to give credit to Mark. I didn't come up with this first. Mark Madden would always say this on the radio as we talk about wrestling. Mark used to work in WCW. He said, unions would never work in pro wrestling because by the nature of the talent, everybody would agree in the room to their face. And then the moment they all dispersed, they'd all be trying to undercut and get a better deal for themselves privately.
Until today's day and age of wrestlers, in WWE specifically, like Roman Reigns is a locker room leader. But he's not the dicky locker room leader that only cares about his paycheck and holds other talents down, like the other Cena level main event talents in the past have. It's very, very different. It is them doing this one for all for one stuff. I'm being dead serious.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even recognize this locker room if I was in there right now. I would be like, where was this back when I was here? What the hell?
Matt, let me ask you this.
So
though.
I do think it would work.
But let me ask you this. The trend with most of the locker room leaders, which I think Roman Reigns, John Cena, Undertaker, the trend is always this. They're leaders, they're respected, but they all have this loyalty to Vince because they've made millions and they've been put in this position. They actually buck against
it's not just that. They say that. Like Hulk used to say, it was because of loyalty to Vince why he could never move forward with unions when Jesse Ventura tried to get one started way back in the day. Wrong. He did it because that was the best thing for Hulk Hogan. And I hate saying that about him because I love him. But that's just truth. All right. And that's the problem with having these one superstars, like, again, that Cena type of talent, that Hogan type of talent, that are so damn up here. They're the ones that have to be okay with spreading the wealth, so to speak. And I do think Roman would be that guy. I really, truly do. Yeah. And because I was always told that it has to be the number one top star that has to be okay with this to move something like this forward. And from what I've heard about this guy, Roman, I know everybody likes him and whatnot, but I've heard he's like a superb human being and friend in the locker room. Like he doesn't just talk to top guys. He talks to dudes coming in for dark matches and stuff.
Yeah.
And not in a way, hey kid, come here, let me tell you, and put himself over. No. But in, hey, what's your name? Where you from? Good luck tonight, man. I want to watch your match. Like, that's crazy to me. And that's awesome that he's like that. And for this union to work, again, the top guys have to be okay with it. And they don't have those, I don't want to call them selfish because they grew up in a business that you had to be selfish and to be a top talent and hold others down, unfortunately. Today's wrestling is not like that in that company. So I hope and pray this works because that is what will keep WWE for the next 50 years to God knows how long, because this is the next step they drastically need to take.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I mean, we'll see what happens. I think if Paige leaves right now, I mean, look, she has, a much brighter future ahead of her, I think, in streaming and being an outspoken critic.
Such a badass. She is such a
absolutely
freaking badass. Good on her. Proud of her. I didn't know this.
So a couple other super chats. Danny California, $2 saying Glenn Cospan is Kevin James wearing that hat. Thank you. Appreciate that. Joey from China saying, always
Joey,
love seeing you guys. Happy to support you, even though technically I shouldn't have access. Tee. Oh, that's right. He's from Bob, but he's behind. I don't even know what's the term for it. Like China's got like internet locked down and stuff. So the fact that he's accessing this, like this is an act of rebellion.
Wait, what? Say that. What happened?
Chinese internet is like locked down, like approved sites.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
And if your podcast has certain tags and things in it, like on iTunes or whatever, like it's restricted in certain countries. So he's
Joey's a rebel, man. Maybe your only active fan in China. Joey, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for giving Raj money because as he's sitting home tonight doing something not related to this at all, he appreciates it.
Okay, so Raj isn't lazy. He's not on this podcast because he doesn't want to do it. He's not on this podcast because he knows the three of us will make him more money than he himself on here would earn.
He's a genius. He is a genius.
We seem to make him more money when he's not on here.
I got to run my business. I got to get other people to do the work and just make the money. Raj is brilliant. Steve Marcuccioli, $4.99, saying, is the storyline a reason for Retribution names? How about Triple H ties and into WWE being cartoonish back in the day and not real?
Wait, hang on. I want to read this. Say it again. As a storyline reason for Retribution names, how about Triple H ties into it?
Like Triple H chose the names because he's like, oh, T-Bar. Like, I'm making fun of you, WWE, for your stupid names. Calling this guy T-Bar.
They're not that self-reflective.
No.
Why is this over my head? I'm sorry.
I don't.
He's basically saying, what if Triple H, as the rebel with the cool NXT gimmick, comes in and says, oh, yeah, I called him T-Bar because that's the kind of shit that you would name them, Vince. Trying to say that he'd like buck against the system and say like you do things cartoonish, and so I was throwing salt in your face and making him a cartoon name too.
Okay.
Let me get through the rest of these. Tyler $4.99 saying Ali, a real life cop, just became the leader of Antifa. I did call the Retribution hacker tie-in months ago, and Raj shot that shit down. I mean, well, Raj Giri is sad man, according to my favorite iTunes review ever.
To be fair, Tyler, lots of readers. God dang, I'm old. Watchers, viewers, listeners of the podcast, somebody has also a lot of different fans have said the same back when this was first happening, because the rumor was out there, if you guys remember and rewind, that it could be Ali as the hacker originally, if you remember. It was a rumor, wasn't confirmed, but I think you should no longer give Raj Giri any money for shooting that bleep down, though.
Oh, there, surfing. Raj is boring. No money needed. I love the chat room. I love the chat room. The chat room is so
stiff.
We're never gonna get through Raw.
Well, listen, let me put this in wrestling perspective. They don't even give Raj a hope spot. It's not even me running across the ring like this with a double axe handle, cueing the babyface to punch me a couple times in the gut and start firing up on me. It's just straight big boot to the mush. Thanks for coming, Raj. That was stiff.
If Raj was listening, he would pop on when we're talking about him and be like, hey, guys, let's get on with the show. Or come in and do like a heel move.
He would.
Raj would come in.
On us by now.
Raj would come in like Vince did when Bob Backlund's Hall of Fame speech. He would strut in like Vince did, and he would go and roll
Justin,
back off.
You don't even know. We used to have like a side chat thing that we could talk to each other on when we used to do this podcast years ago, and it would just be like he'd make this signal to Glenn to keep the show moving. Or guys, let's try to stay on track.
Oh yeah. It was the 3 dots.
When I started
3 dots when it was move on.
Well, first off, Matt, I don't know if you ever use it. We do have a private chat on this thing, which the three of us never use, but we do have it. But yeah, when like I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years ago, when I started in the regular rotation with you guys, Raj would send me emails like, well, Glenn's getting a little off topic. Can you try to steer back to the wrestling? And I'm like,
Ryan Ricotta.
It was like the Vince producing me in my ear thing. And I was just like, well,
yes.
Ryan Ricotta, $4.99, saying rumors of Mania Tampa 2021. Any truth? Was supposed to meet you guys there this year. Let's make it happen in 2021. Hey, let's see if it happens.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, there is truth to it. WWE's not WWE's not acknowledging it right now because contractually they are still in bed with California.
Right. Yep.
But they know
California
because
will not be
California's not right. California's not going to allow it. So they will in Florida. They would be able to use the stadium, maybe have 15,000, 20,000. I don't know. So they're not going to say it out loud. But Ryan, you're right. That there's a lot of truth, and I haven't talked to these guys, so I'm completely shooting. But I would love for us to try to do safely what we wanted to do last year. Which was see all of you safely if it's possible.
Yes.
I was going to show up in a hazmat suit this year if it happened.
Yeah. That's how
so,
far he's willing to go for you fans.
I got to go to a wedding on Sunday. I might be wearing a hazmat suit there. Dustin Eck,
really?
$5.
Do you really have to go to one? Is it outdoors or indoors?
It's outdoors. It's a whole thing.
Bro, I was at a funeral. I was at a funeral 2 weeks ago indoors, and it was rough. It was rough.
Can I just put something out there? One of the first questions I asked when COVID hit was one that nobody was asking. I'm putting myself over as the mayor here at the time. Was an honest question. Was what about people at the time? Somebody that is deceased and is having a wake. Like, did people testing that body per se when people are coming up to see that body? You know what I'm saying? And pay their respects at the time, because it was before they shut down everything. It was like before the first executive orders were executed on telling people businesses were closed and you got to stay home. It was before that. And, you know, one of the doctors got back to me. He's like, yeah, they very well could be. And I'm like, crap. This virus was scary as hell this first hit, man.
Matt, here was the hardest thing. I was in, it was the week that I was off and I missed you guys. I was at a funeral in Delaware for a death of my family. And the toughest thing. Oh, yeah. Thank you. Everything's, yeah. The toughest thing about it, masks were required, and there's a lot of, it was an elderly person who passed away, so a lot of elderly people attending. So you wanted to be respectful. The toughest thing was you're wearing masks, and look, you're at a funeral hearing
you're crying and
you're crying
people usually.
So right. So I was in the struggle of like,
what do you do?
Right, trying to wipe tears, but I'm trying to watch pulling my mask down as I'm sitting in a pew. You know, it's a tough situation. I don't, you know, that was.
And you hug each other. These are your family members, you know.
Right, exactly. There was people from out of state that I haven't seen in years. You want to give a hug to, and but there, everybody, there was the apprehensiveness. It was like, is it okay? Are you okay if I do? Like, you know, there was that weirdness of like, yeah.
But at least you're able to hug your family members, though.
Yeah. So let's talk about a match before we hit the rest of these super chats. Okay. So we had a 6-woman tag: Zelina Vega, Lana, and Natalya versus Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Asuka. Nice that Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke looked good in this match.
Yes, it was.
Ended up with Rose covering Lana for the pin.
Like that.
Yeah, that was good. I think Mandy and Dana, good pairing.
They are good pairing. They look like a great gel. They're going to gel more and more, but physically they look like a tag team immediately. And they're both talents that we want to see them used more. And this was a good 6-woman rather. This was.
Yeah, and then what happened afterwards is Jax and Shayna come out and again put Lana through a table. I mean, since her husband Miro showed up as the best man on AEW, she has gone through a table every week, and she has took the pin in every match she has been in. I mean, there's got to be a clear message sent.
I thought this stopped. Like, I'm being serious. Like, there's no more ribbing going on in that company, like the ribbing that went on when I was there. And they're just much more forward thinking by nature as a company. So to see this in broad daylight, because this isn't broad daylight, folks. This is happening every week on television. They're showing it to us. Of this is what you. This is how you handle a spouse of another spouse that wants to go to a different company. Come on.
Well, and the bad thing is, would be
so weak. So weak.
And the bad thing is, it'd be one thing if it's okay. We're going to
make her the champion.
Right, squash her for a couple of weeks, and then she's going to have this huge comeback. There's no comeback here.
It'll be at best a 1-week comeback or something. Schoolboy somebody out of nowhere, and it'll be back to tables again.
Yeah. So Shayna and Nia showed up after this. Wait, that's what happened, right? And then Lana went through a table again.
So I hate to say this because I don't like how they're treating Lana, but they did look like badasses again.
They did. Yeah.
Tag team a lot.
And then later on, they look like badasses. So I mean,
Yes,
that's happening. But I like Lana. I think that I think that she has ability to be something more for them. But
I think she's a great actress. She pulled that Russian crap off that I had no clue. I thought she was legit.
Yeah,
Like
she's
Russian.
got a lot to offer. She might. Yeah, she might not be the fabulous Moolah in the ring, but I feel like she has a lot to offer, especially in the crossover. But I feel like this is took a turn for the personal. Of her husband's been very outspoken. Obviously, had the shooting promo on them and AEW. I feel like this is just it's just
and that's not right.
personal shenanigans.
Not right. You're WWE. There is no number 2. When you're number 1, you don't ever sweat number 2 in life, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't get why they're selling. They are literally selling on national television.
Yeah.
No less.
Yeah. So, Matt,
they'd be better off in making Lana a champion and saying, haha, F you.
Yeah, you should have stayed here, dude.
Right.
So you finding out Lana was not Russian. Let me blow your mind, Matt. Did you know Yakov Smirnoff is not Russian?
I don't know who that is.
You don't. I'm not going to do the accent because it'll offend.
I don't know who that is
people.
either.
He had the jokes, in Soviet Russia, TV Watch You.
I've got to see it. I'm so sorry.
You would know,
your joke, brother.
You would know if he was all over the place.
The name sounds very familiar.
Yeah, it was all comedians. It was all jokes about in Soviet Russia this, in Soviet Russia that.
Glenn, was it better than the leading character in Glow, which got canceled today?
I am
doing the Russian.
So pissed about that.
Why would it get canceled?
Glow. They renewed Glow for a 4th season. They'd already shot one episode, and then Netflix came out and said, we've canceled it. We're going to pay everybody, but we're canceled. So we get no finale. We get no.
Why would they do this?
I don't know.
Because they don't know when, because of the physical contact required, they don't know when they can shoot it again. I don't know why they wouldn't just wait, because, I mean, we're patient.
Yeah.
It's just Netflix being
jerks. Take forever with all my other favorite shows, Netflix. Why can't you do it with this one?
If they reverse Ozark, if we don't get that last season of Ozark, I'm going to be pissed.
Ozark is amazing.
Ozark's the truth. They're going to do that 2-part final season.
Although if season 3 was the end with the way that ended, I would almost
no. They need.
You'd be okay with that?
No, they need.
It was a pretty good ending.
It was a good ending, but they need more closure. They need more.
Surprised the hell out of me. Did not see that coming at all.
If the drug lord has took you in that much, we need more.
Okay, so Dustin Eck saying Lita's live now on Twitch talking about WWE owning their wrestlers' Twitch bullshit.
Well, watch us. Go watch her later.
Yes.
Yeah, what are you doing, Dustin, EK?
Danny California, $5 saying Vince bearing every talent immediately upon hearing talks of unionizing would put an end to any talks.
Not if they're all in on it. Yeah. Not if they're all in on this. And I know that's what makes it tough. But again, you don't have that super duper 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 star at the very tippity top making trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that they will be screwed by going to a union. It's different today. It's different with that top talent.
Chronoshot $2 asking if you saw Road to Jericho 30 yet, saying
no.
He loved it.
Where's that at?
Probably on the YouTube.
The YouTube, you sound like my dad. Really? Okay, yeah. I'll check it out. I love Chris Jericho.
Nightmare Knee saying this Raw obviously sucks since we haven't talked much about it since the podcast started.
No. Actually, I said this was a newsworthy.
We're doing a lot of super chats, which is great. Thanks for the money, but like that's hard.
Stop so we can get through the show. How about that, Nightmare Knee?
And don't do your super chats until somebody earlier was like Riot Squad super chat. Wait until we get to it.
Good Lord! I'm just looking at this. There's $40 worth of super chats that I have to get to here.
Nope. Go to the matches, please.
I know here's why I have to. Okay, I got to keep coming back to them because if I wait too long, they disappear. Oh wow!
Somebody needs to be the heel here.
Seriously, no. I know what Glenn's talking about. I've seen it. We missed the scroll after a while. If you have a super chat about a certain storyline, wait until we get to it so it's timely and we don't throw the whole format off.
There you go.
Drinking with David 399 says maybe the Jamieson talking about Raw was decent. That Retribution angle really elevated this show because we feel like they're giving us something. Yes. However, though, R-Truth backstage holding a mock draft with little Jimmy. And I thought it was Randy Orton as the janitor, but it's Drew Gulak who won the 24/7 title.
Is all I gotta say. Little Jimmy,
or he ran away with the title.
Little Jimmy is still the most over person in that segment.
It's true.
I can't wait for R-Truth's Hall of Fame induction speech.
That's gonna be great. Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, and Apollo Crews got a one-time only offer tonight to join the Hurt Business. Then we had, here we go. Seth Rollins and Murphy versus Nick Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo.
I ain't gonna say nothing, but yep, this is what we were talking about the other night on the air.
It's just an okay match, but it's like, so the big deal. I mean, look, we know this is leading. Well, they showed it tonight with Murphy and Rollins breaking up. It'll be a great match at Hell in a Cell. I'm certain of it. But this whole thing with Seth's like, I'm going to show Ray's daughter's text between you and Murphy where she's talking about how she really feels about her family. Like, I mean, whatever. It is what it is.
Here's the one weird thing. And I like soap opera drama.
Do you? What's your favorite soap opera?
Daytime
and nighttime.
Guiding Light.
What's your favorite nighttime?
Don't have a nighttime. Guiding Light. Daytime. It's gone. Longest running. No, here's the thing. I like the sports entertainment aspect. I do. I appreciate the bell to bell, but I also understand that characters and personalities are what ultimately sells it. So I don't mind this kind of stuff. I guess the one thing that I kind of sit there and look at, I'm like, all right, they keep harping how Aaliyah's 19 and Buddy's in his early 30s, and it's like, I don't know. That's a big age gap, and we're like pushing Buddy as his baby face is a little like that part becomes
not baby face-ish.
Yeah, not baby face-ish. But I will say that I'm interested in the story. I do. They are hooking me. I at least would rather. I'm intrigued to see what. I think about Stephanie McMahon with Triple H 20 years ago. That's kind of what I'm thinking here with Aaliyah and Buddy. So
I don't think that'll fly if it's exactly like Stephanie and Triple H 20 years ago.
Yeah,
barely flew 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But it looks like Murphy's going to end up being the good guy in this. So maybe it's not so.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to it. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay. So after this, Braun Strowman wanted a match tonight and said you're going to get an exhibition match. Talk more about that and the way that they framed it in such a weird way. We had the Kevin Owens show. And the guest was Bray Wyatt, did not show up. Instead, we saw a Firefly Fun House with a song about friendship, and it was no Muscle Man dance.
This was fine. Look, Bray is one of their best attractions. He's a SmackDown star, so I totally am okay with him trying to get the rub over on Raw. This was good. This did a lot of things. It kept going. It gave you a reason to watch Friday because we have more to follow with Kevin and Bray Friday.
Definitely built that.
Bray also did the whole, speaks for the Fiend, said about the whole Alexa Bliss. That's between Alexa and the Fiend. It's not your business.
So therefore, it's move forward. Yep,
yeah, this was good. This was good. This
I liked it.
Yeah, I was okay with this. Kevin even acknowledging the obvious, which is why do all these dark characters have a problem with me? First, it's Aleister Black. Then it's Bray Wyatt, and then Aleister Black attacks Kevin Owens a minute later. I'm okay with this. This was totally fine.
Did you see Kevin Owens call him Aleister Black out on Twitter? He's like, ooh, spooky font.
Oh, I know. I missed that.
He tried to trash talk Kevin Owens or something like that and use like spooky font in his tweet to do so. Kevin to diss him for it.
Yeah, but this was good. Bray, it's amazing. 15 months ago, when the Firefly Funhouse thing started, we all just shook our heads and went, "What the hell are they doing?" And now it has become the most, in my mind, the most stable, creative thing that's out there. But it's like, you know what? There's a payoff to it. This Fiend stuff is so good.
I feel like the friendship song was phoning it in tonight a little bit.
I think it was good, quirky fun. And I appreciate Kevin Owens calling it a Mr. Rogers reboot. I think this was fine. I like this.
Okay, there you go. So let's talk about, and then yes, Aleister Black did attack. Nice black mass on Kevin Owens there.
Mm-hmm.
Well delivered. So then Braun Strowman got his exhibition match tonight. What was with them saying, now this is an exhibition match, so the wins and losses won't count against their win-loss record? Where did that come from?
I don't know. I got nothing for you on that.
And it's an unsanctioned match. And what was the finish? The finish was a WWE referee with a 10 count out.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that the idea here was to protect Keith Lee
Yes.
and Braun Strowman and neither of them to have a traditional loss. I get that. But this
They
looks so stupid.
Not have had this match.
Yeah,
This
by the
is
way.
the antithesis of how you book Big Man 101.
Yeah, by the way, Keith Lee has had like 10 or 11 matches since coming to Raw from NXT, and more than half of them have ended in a DQ or count out. They are so afraid just to give him a freaking win. It's
Don't
embarrassing.
book him in anything, man. If you were not going to book him in matches that he's going to win, then do not book him.
It's embarrassing.
Stop.
It's embarrassing.
He could be a mega star for them. There's no reason he's not.
Well,
This is so frustrating to watch. This is, again, the worst thing, Justin, you can do for a big man. This is worse, in my opinion, than when it brought me up to SmackDown, and on night one, they put me next to Big Show on Team Lesnar. That is the stupidest thing you can do for another big man. You don't put him next to one that's bigger than him for at least 6 months to a year, and you damn sure don't put him in a match that he's going to lose or, count out.
Well, here's the thing. The fact they set it up, we glossed over this. Braun says he wants a match. Adam Pearce is like, you're not a Raw superstar. Again, we have the draft in 5 days, so why the hell do we need to have people crossing over in the first place? But Braun's like, I want a match. And Adam's like, you can't have a match. It'd be unsanctioned. And then Keith steps in, and Keith does look like a badass backstage where he goes, sign me up. So, all right, he wants the task. That looks cool. What it should have been is Braun coming to the ring saying, I want to destroy everybody. And Keith, unbeknownst to anybody else, coming out. And then, the bumps they took tonight looked like a big deal, made Keith look like a big deal within the bumps. But the fact that it was unsanctioned match and it's a count out, and again, Keith can't ever get wins, that's what is so diluting to it. Like, just let Keith come out and bull rush Braun.
Kill people.
Exactly. Bull rush Braun.
No, nothing with Braun. You don't put him in the ring with somebody that's bigger than him. Not yet. No, I'm adamant about that. No. You keep him the hell away from anybody that's bigger than him, and you keep that illusion that he's one of the biggest guys on that roster. Wow, what would it mean one time? Like when Braun took on Big Show, it was perfectly done because it took like 6 to 8 months to get to it. And they did the suplex off the top rope. The ring collapsed. They did it right. I don't know why they would put him anywhere near anybody. Number one, that's going to beat him. And two, that's physically bigger than him. I hate it more than anything. I hate it.
Well, as Terry Allen Jr. says with the super chat, Keith's star status decreasing each week.
Big time.
Not his fault. No,
I agree.
But it is.
How's it his fault?
No, it's not his fault.
No,
his star is decreasing.
Oh, sorry.
Very confusing there. So we got a vignette for Bianca Belair. Not only is she a gifted athlete, but she's fantastic at trivia.
I got nothing for you on this one.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, like I kind of popped for that, but I don't know that that's necessarily like
she's on TV again.
Yeah, exactly. And she's great and she's a star. But Matt, you hate this. Like this was a cute segment, and these shouldn't be cute.
She's a badass. And,
absolutely.
The weightlifting stuff was cool.
The running stuff.
Her chumping the dude in the gym, right?
Let's see her kick some ass, though. Like, this is a wrestling show. Wow.
Yeah,
It's weird that I said that, you know? So.
Yeah, you're right.
Brian Elliott, $5, wants to know what are your favorite storylines of all time? This is Crow Sting versus NWO.
Okay.
96, 97 leading Starrcade. Horrible payoff, but Hogan gonna Hogan. I mean, the NWO debut with the Outsiders and all of that, I think is still one of the greatest. I mean, more recent, I think CM Punk versus Cena with the pipe bomb promo and all the build there. Daniel Bryan, Bayley versus Sasha in NXT.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it was very good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not putting that ahead of like Hogan versus Piper and when we were kids, the whole what was it? With Rock and Wrestling Connection.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, with Cyndi Lauper.
War to settle the score. And then leading into WrestleMania 1, that was such an exciting time for a wrestling fan. It was everywhere. Everyone was talking about wrestling.
Huge. No, I agree. But what was interesting about then, because even not watching the like weekly programming, like I didn't even know what channel or where I could, or, I know they did the NBC specials and there were things on cable, but like I watched the MTV stuff. I watched the Saturday Night's Main Event. I watched the WrestleMania, obviously. But even then, like you didn't have to follow because they were on David Letterman, they were on the Tonight Show, they were on MTV. Like it was such an easy story to tell, and the Mr. T's there. Like it was an awesome time.
Their coverage they had was just extraordinary. They're on every channel.
Yeah. Yet Cyndi Lauper still not in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that is a crime.
Ethan Kaufman, $5, wants to know what happened to the Peyton Royce and Bianca Belair push. Well, Bianca's getting it. Peyton, I don't know. Unless they're waiting to go after the draft. If not, just put Peyton and Billy back together. I mean, they already are back together. Billy's like her hype woman.
Which is weird.
It is weird. Joey from China, it's starting to feel personal now. Lana asked Vince how he feels after a month. Vince's response of putting you through a table. And then Justin Lopez, $5, said Miro said in an interview with Van Vliet that she's happy despite all this. She's making NBA free agent money with a 5-year deal she signed.
She is making money. That I know. She's not staying there for pennies. So I guess good on her for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Neo Akira, $5, saying we need The Rock to endorse it for the union. Rock Matt 2024.
Ooh, that's not a bad call about having a Rock. See, now I will say this.
Yeah.
I love me some Rock. But I do wonder if he is that super duper 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 star, like Hulk Hogan level. All right. Mm-hmm. That would, what Justin was saying, feel so ingratiated and thankful to Vince that he could never do that to him.
Well, and he at some point might need to promote a movie or might need something.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know.
Because that would be like almost like just the fact Andrew Yang's talking about this is amazing.
Well, The Rock came out and endorsed Biden and Harris. I mean, and that's it's a big deal under the scope of we know that President Trump in his relationship with Vince. I mean, so that's a big deal. I mean, and it's
far as not being scared to do something. Again,
right?
I see what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
that's actually a good example. Actually, you're right.
So,
but but that doesn't affect Vince's business.
Sure.
Vince is the way The Rock will see this as Vince has been amazing to his family for many moons.
Yeah, maybe he's afraid about Nia and Roman and his daughter in the company.
And his family before him.
Yeah. Justin Lopez, with exactly what I was thinking tonight, $5. Braun and Keith Lee could be a WrestleMania match, and they're doing it on Raw with no build.
Yeah. Gee, you think? Yes, of course it could.
And
it would be awesome if they built Keith Lee right.
And that's the result of 3 hours every week. Again.
Come on. No, it's not. They could have given him anybody from debut episode on and a slow, steady crescendo, just like they did Braun.
Right, but yeah, back in the day they would have saved this for pay-per-view, but they have 3 hours to fill. I hate it.
They needed 3 hours to fill when Braun Strowman was getting his push, Justin. Why can't they do the same thing?
Because when Braun was getting this push, they had him beating 2 and 3 jobbers.
Yes, and remember what I kept saying? This is good stuff, guys. I promise this will go somewhere. They're doing this right. We said the same thing for Nia Jax, who was doing the same thing from the women's division. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, as a big guy, I love that, and they don't do it enough. And he is a different type of big man, Keith Lee. I've never seen anything like him. He really is an anomaly. And there ain't another Keith Lee, again, growing on a tree somewhere, that they're going to go get in developmental one day if this doesn't work out. He's literally one and only of his stature. He just is. He's his own deal.
Unabomber burns $1.99. Morgan call back to standing next to show again. FS.
What does that mean? What is that mean?
Well, he's saying like
what does FFS
mean? For blank's sake.
For F's sake.
Yeah, for F's sake. And he likes to call you Morgan. It's fine.
I got nothing for him.
We've all got like 10 stories. We just keep repeating them on this podcast. And
this idiot says I repeat everything. But We're talking about big mans, you moron. And I don't know, I'm 7 feet tall.
Hey, but did you
might have just a tad experience on how to book a big man, and worked with one of the best bookers of all time, whether you guys like him or you're crybaby because he beats on all your young talents that you guys like at AEW, Jim Cornette. Nobody can argue with me on that. He's one of the best bookers of all time when it comes to big men. So I know what I'm talking about on how to book a big man. There is no but, Glenn. I'm not putting myself over. It's truth.
No. But I was just gonna say, did you know that Raj got on an ad network, and when he was talking to the guy behind it, it turned out it was Elizabeth Shue's brother Andrew, who was on Melrose Place.
If we were talking about that TV show, then that would be,
I don't know why Raj brought that up again last night. I don't even know where that came from.
I didn't want to stop him either. I'm like, dude, we heard this.
I know. It's like, I've heard this story before, Raj.
Please tell me there's a different ending to it. He did that twice last night. He started off with some cool stories, it sounded like, but there was no finale to them at all. And he just would fizzle it, and you'd see it on his face as it would fizzle. Okay, nobody really cares. Moving
what
on.
I worry is I never think about what I'm going to say on the show beforehand. Shocking, I know.
I hope so.
But sometimes, I go on Twitter and I'm like, oh yeah, I had that observation. I wanted to get to this, but I feel bad even regurgitating something I said on Twitter earlier because I feel like I don't want to just be a repeat of
No, because it's your opinion. They're watching the show to hear our opinions on it and breakdowns of all these things.
Yeah.
So again, back to Homeboy who thinks he's funny. I'm making a superstar of him in the chat room right now, I'm sure. But nonetheless, that's what it is. When Raj first brought me to the show is to talk about those experiences. And again, it makes me irate on how they're booking Keith Lee right now.
Goes ask JD, Matt, you did tell this story 3 times, and Raj told us that story 5 times.
Again, I will repeat why, moron.
I know.
Because, not you, Ghost Homeboy. Because
it's relevant. It's relevant.
Because we're talking about how to book a big man.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. And let me put it this way. If you want to talk about repetitive shit, hey, WWE, stop making the same mistake again and again, and we'll stop making the same observation and critique of it again and again.
And go back and watch because half of you guys that are talking smack right now probably weren't even born when I was wrestling, is what I'm guessing, or watching it.
Ooh.
But go back and read. No, I'm being serious. I'm not being a smart ass. I'm being serious. But you can go back, and if you're reading the sheets back then, you'll see it point blank. They all called it out, going, why in the hell would you bring Matt Morgan, Nathan Jones, 6'10", 6'11", and put them in the ring immediately next to 7'2"? That makes no sense. Because it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. You don't do that when you bring in big men. You keep them the hell away from each other for a very, very long time, and you steal a pay-per-view main event with it down the road. And when I say steal a pay-per-view, Nathan Jones stole a pay-per-view technically when they wrestled at WrestleMania as Undertaker's tag team partner versus A-Train and Big Show, and Nathan was still too green to go, so they got him injured in the locker room before the match, and Taker had to go against him 1-on-2. But the billing was Nathan Jones and Undertaker, so that's technically stealing a pay-per-view, which you can do with any big guys, as long as they're big and jacked, and you can't do it with other talents.
Yeah.
Which is wild when you put it in the perspective of the streak, which wasn't yet a thing.
Right? Damn. Yeah. A-Train was really good. He was underrated, man. He was very, very fun to work. He was so good in that ring.
Matt Bloom is one of the, for his size, very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm not surprised that he's a top deputy in NXT.
I went to an NXT house show when I met him. He came right up to me through the curtain, and they were a house show. And I took one of the kids that I went and spoke at his school, at one of our special needs school. The kid loves wrestling. So I called NXT, can I get tickets? I said, sure. And I met him and his family there. And A-Train just came out of the curtain, and 2 seconds later, standing next to him, like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm training the kids, because I was really out of the loop on wrestling. Yeah. I had no clue. And as good as he was, I never would have guessed him being a coach for for NXT. It's a lot of responsibility, man. You're creating tomorrow's superstars today, right?
Yeah.
He's cheap plug. If you go on YouTube and type in NXT Performance Center tour, 5 years ago, I did a tour of the Performance Center that Matt is the leader of, and we do it, and we talked to Elias, who had just broken at the time. Mm-hmm. Matt Bloom is a really good teacher and a vet, and he went to University of Pittsburgh here, which is how I know him. He was
a great football player there. He was a
good.
He
He's legit. He's a dude that's got a lot of things to offer. It's probably gonna be recognized more after the fact, after his in-ring career. His last flop in WWE was Lord Tensai.
Which
Unfortunately,
I liked that.
I
was
like
happy
Lord
for him.
Tensai. Me too.
I thought it was cool.
Me too. I did too. Didn't work.
So
John Cena and the Golden Shovel. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. You're right. They were trying to put him with Cena, and Cena didn't want to do it. You're right.
No.
You're right. Oh, we're getting too behind the curtain here. Let's go.
our Truth Guy's 42nd 24/7 title win against Drew Gulak backstage. Then we had Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin versus Apollo Crews and Ricochet. And hey, look, this match, the Hurt Business ended up winning it, but what it's really about is what happened afterwards. Oh, wait a second. Did that happen? No, it happened later in the night. Sorry. I'm all jumbled.
What are you reading?
I'm reading the Wrestling recap because my memory of it. I was dealing with something during this point when stuff
what
happened.
does it say? Is it written wrong?
No, it's not written wrong. I just forgot that we had the stuff with Murphy and Aaliyah before that. We had the draft promo, but then we had the Hurt Business backstage.
To offer them to join.
Yeah, I thought that happened earlier.
That was earlier. No, this
was
oh, MVP versus Mustafa Ali.
This was Ali came up to them and said, Ali said to MVP, I'm gonna beat you, but go ahead and bring your boys. This is a key point.
Yes.
Why would the babyface say, bring your boys and outnumber me?
Yeah.
He said, bring them, because after I finish with you, I'm gonna take down them.
That's
would come to find out it's because he's got a setup for them.
Yep. It was awesome. I thought this was good.
I missed that part when I was dealing with something.
You would have popped. It was pretty good. It's another one of those ends being tied, you know.
I'll share this with the audience. I locked myself out of the master bedroom today, and I still haven't been able to pick the lock to get back in. I don't know how I did this.
No sex for Rubenstein, huh?
My wife's not here. She's with family.
Oh, all right.
Where do you even unpack this? Do I go on Glenn of saying how nobody taught you how to take a clothes hanger and put it in a little hole?
No. We put like a legitimate, like decent lock on the bedroom door.
What are you scared of coming in?
Why?
Who's coming in?
I bought this. Like, let's not get too. I live in the house that I grew up in partially. I bought the house at a certain point, but I grew up in this house. So my brother, one of my brothers, used to like swipe stuff from my room, or he'd go in my room when I wasn't home, and it would be like, hey, I took your N64 out of the room, just like little things, but it was annoying, right?
Yeah.
So at some point I put like a decent lock on that bedroom door, and it was so long ago I don't know where the key is. I've only lived in
my childhood home. I miss my childhood home.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I do dig it.
No
though.
way, I would kill for that. I would kill for that.
I grew up in the ghetto of White Sands in Lusby, Maryland. I don't want to be in the ghetto.
That's where you grew up, though, man. I don't know.
So, because it's me and the cats sometimes get a little rambunctious in the morning about wanting to be fed. Like, I've been locking my door at night just to make sure, because the cats can open the door when it's unlocked. They can jiggle it until it pops
Wait,
open.
what?
That's awesome. You've never seen that? Cats can absolutely do that.
I hate cats, so no, I haven't seen that.
Cats will put their paw under the door and just keep lifting it until the door pops open.
I hate cats.
When it's unlocked.
That's why they do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it opens. So I've been locking it at night. For some reason this morning, I don't know what it was. Maybe I didn't unlock it all the way, but for some reason I locked myself out of the master bedroom all day. So what's funny about this is at the start of the pandemic, I had a friend that was like, oh, I've been bored and teaching myself how to pick locks. I'm like, I've always kind of wanted to know how to do that. So I bought a lock pick set and watched the videos, and I'm able to pick all the test locks that they give you. But I'm sitting there on Raw, and that's the thing, I'm watching this on my phone, and then sitting there trying to pick the lock and turn it and do the whole thing, and I can't get in. But I did stop doing that to focus back on the show fully.
So wait, moral of the story is you had your attention divided from Raw because you're trying to learn how to be a burglar. Or you're trying to
No, I'm trying to get into my bedroom. I can't get into. Or else tonight or I got kicked down the door and then replace the door before my wife comes back. That's not going to work because then the cats are going to get. We do not let the cats in the bedroom. I'm 90% cat hair. The bedroom is the one room that the cats are not going.
I hate cats. Get rid of them. So let's move on.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, I got to wrap this up tonight because I could probably get another hour.
They wave their tail when they're unhappy. Makes no freaking sense.
I got to drill the lock.
I got 22% battery. We got to go. And I was at 100.
Yeah. Nightmare Knee, thanks. In his Matt Morgan voice, who cares? So
plug the phone in.
no, because then he
my
can't use
headphones
this.
come out.
It's
Okay.
a whole to do, Justin.
It is a
Lord.
Okay, so let's
I have
talk
to
about
do my
this. Murphy
headphones.
back to the ring. Rollins out there. Murphy and Rollins get into it. Justin, what else interesting happened in this segment?
Well, this was a big segment. So
Yeah.
Rollins wants an apology at 10 p.m.
That's right.
Murphy starts to kick the shit out of him, and then Rollins is like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and then he attacks Murphy, and then Aaliyah comes out and is like trying to protect him. So like again, they're trying to babyface Murphy. Mysterio and company comes out. They're still like, "Stop hanging out with this bad kid. You're not going to date him, Aaliyah." Again, I like this kind of drama. I know this is a departure from the bell to bell pro wrestling, but I like this because it gives you substance. I like it, and
Why are
like
you're saying it so defensively that you like it though? Why?
because I feel like so many people I saw on social just hate this stuff, and I like this stuff. This to me is what it's all about.
Social media is not the judge, jury, and execution.
I know
of decision making.
I know.
But the whole thing where it was like, how could you like him because what he did to our dad? Like, I mean, I get the drama they're trying to build, but I don't know. I mean, I've been over this for weeks.
I did like Murphy whipping his ass. I did like that. That was cool.
Yeah. So we then had the women's tag team title match that was supposed to happen at Clash of the Champions, the Riot Squad versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. This might surprise some people out there, but Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax retained at the end of this match. However, what'd you think of how the Riot Squad looked during this, Matt?
I thought they looked good. I'm not a fan of the gimmick. I've never been. I was a much bigger fan of Liv Morgan, hopefully finally becoming a single star and then letting her be herself or do something that I keep hearing from the guys and gals on that roster that say that she should be a single star. Like I've heard this from like at least 5 talents there when she's about to get her opportunity. Like you watch, she's going to do something cool with this because she's supposedly really super talented and we haven't really seen as much as what she can offer. So because that's in my head, it's like I don't want to see her in this tag team. We've seen her in that tag team before. I want to see her as a single star, but I know there's only so much room on the roster for single stars. So I get that. But I'm a bigger fan of the other tag team. Way bigger fan.
Shout out to the sympathy the Riot Squad got.
They did.
Shayna Baszler doing the work to the left arm of Ruby.
Dude, this is perfect for Shayna. Shayna's shining finally.
Ruby looked like she actually broke her arm. She did a great selling job.
She did.
And the replay of the slow motion, this was good.
This was a good match. This
really was. The Riot Squad tried to do some clever offense to keep Nia on her knees and try to knock down the big man, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
This was good. This was actually a very, very good. And I'm not a big fan of Shayna and Nia. I'll be honest, but
Works.
But this did good.
I like the Riot Squad now because they're just letting them be a duo in themselves. They're not backstage like squirting mustard on everything.
Or look at my blue tongue.
Yeah. Like
and I like the fact that Riot Squad, they came out, they had the same like colored like kilt skirts. They looked more like a team.
They did.
They look like a team.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, it's sympathy, but I don't know that they needed sympathy tonight with Nia, with Shayna keeping the hold on on Ruby after. Well, because I mean, I think it made the Riot Squad look like they're not quite ready for this. Yeah, they're not ready for this opportunity. They're not at that level. When they're not at the level of a tag team that has been a tag team for like a month.
But that's what's. I'm sorry. Any team that Nia Jax is on, it just
that's true.
It evens the odds for, in my opinion, for experienced tag teams.
But hey, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sorry. No, we'll never move on. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about the high point of the night: MVP versus Mustafa Ali. I stopped my lock picking adventure during this because they. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna get it, or else if someone in the chat said my wife's gone and I'm gonna end up sleeping on the couch, it's like getting fired on your day off.
Tremendous comment. Whoever said that.
So MVP versus Mustafa Ali. This started to get going, but then we had the lights flickering, the Retribution logo. Retribution comes out to the ring. Kind of a surprise, given that we thought some of them were out, perhaps due to illness. But they're surrounding the ring, and then it seems like Ali is going to join the Hurt Business to fight them off, but then Ali joins them and stands in front of them. And there was this big reveal. So after this beatdown, Ali's standing there at the forefront of this group in the ring. And I felt like, whether this was the plan all along or not, this felt like a big payoff. Really like the fist, the hand symbol. I'm excited to see where this goes.
This was awesome. This literally just resuscitated that group for me. For me as a fan. I'm not saying for everybody. I saw some negative comments too. I know some people ain't going to like it. I did. I dug this.
Yeah, again, this isn't a home run, but it at least to me is like, all right, I'll watch another week. I want to see what happens. Both hands are full. The one hand of critique is like, this guy never threw WWE storyline, but Ali, he is a former cop. He's very much against the don't peg me as the Middle Eastern heel gimmick because my name's Ali. So, there's that. That's never been told, but that would also come into play as to why he's a leader of Retribution and going against the system. But then there's the other hand that does make sense, which is, okay, the hacker rumors, or Retribution's all about guys and girls who haven't been given a fair shake, and certainly Ali could have been given more up to this point. So I'm interested. I'm there. And you know what? There's so many other options they probably could have done, which I would have been like, you know what? I don't buy it. Screw this.
It would have been a fizzle, and it would have been the final death nail of that group. This, in my opinion, resuscitated them for momentarily.
Yeah,
we'll see.
As you or Raj would say, there were so many other options that could have been a fart in church. But I'm at least okay with this. This is.
I'm more than okay. I really love this. I know it sounds crazy, but I did. I thought this was great.
You know what else? Well, we're giving WWE some props here. I thought when Ricochet was out there earlier and was cutting jokes on MVP and being sarcastic and a smart aleck, I thought Ricochet seemed the coolest he's ever seen tonight doing a promo.
He was. I'm glad you remembered that because I forgot, and that's not anything against him.
Yeah.
But because the Ali reveals, though, like my mind exploded. So it took over a little bit on what I remembered on the show. That's a great call. And he did look cool out there, and he did look like he could hang with bigger talents. Verbally.
And you know what? I'm sure there's a portion of the audience right now that's completely trashing Ali. Who is he? Why is he the leader? But you know what? The fact that WWE was able to take the temperature and say, look, this whole Retribution thing is getting stale. We're doing the same thing every week. We're given no progression. We're given no reason. The fact they were able to at least take the temperature and say, you know what? We at least need to give a reveal. And you know what? Maybe Ali's not it. Maybe we come to find out there's more current superstars.
Like Dark Order.
Right. Maybe there's more superstars who aren't covered in a mask, who are in with this, who are down with their MO.
There still could be a Brody Lee out there.
Exactly.
The insulted one.
Props to WWE for at least taking the temperature to realize we have to give everybody something. We have to give them some reveal.
Well, I'm praising them on this episode. I am. By the same token, no offense, people have been beating them over the head with a hammer, with a stamp, I should say, that says, "We hate this. Do something different," for weeks. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, we just give them. I definitely need to give them their props on the reveal, no question.
It was good.
And Ali, you guys remember? You guys did say that it could be Ali as the reveal for the hacker, right? I hated the hacker passionately. If you guys will remember, if they tie this together, I will get on my hands and knees and I will do this that you won't be able to see because my screen sucks and it's too small.
You're very tall.
To WWE.
Yeah, it was good. This is very good. And the Ricochet thing, those two things really stood out for me tonight as being high points. The Ricochet thing was so small, but given how he's struggled to seem cool,
I'm so glad
that was
you
just
remember
such a
because
nice
that
moment.
That would have been lost. I'm glad you brought that up.
Neo Akira $5 said, I think this ends with Ray's daughter saying she's pregnant and it's Murphy a la Kane and Lita.
Okay, then does she's 19, folks, she's 19. Constant reminder, does that do anything? Like, why they keep making us think about this? No, I don't know why they want us to think about this.
No, but I think I hit the nail on the head last week. Let me put myself over with my reverse logic. They're not trying to tell you she's 19, she's so young. They're trying to tell you she's 19, she's of age.
Of age. I got
because she doesn't look, she looks like a younger teenager. I think that's why they're saying.
Okay. Yeah, I remember agreeing with you on this too, actually. Yeah.
They're trying to say, like, guys, creepy, maybe, legal, definitely.
He's right. I think he's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's the only reason why, or else it's just strange. Ralph the Ace 1499 saying, I like the Murphy storyline, just happy there's more story to this feud. I always appreciate that about late 90s Raw. Those shows felt as if wrestlers had some more story on the show. It's definitely a story.
It is.
It's better than that eye for an eye shit.
It's much better. I agree.
Like, people are giving me lockpick advice in the chat, and it's like, I tried a credit card. I've tried these things.
Credit card. You guys have watching different strokes.
And totally different kind of lock. Doesn't work on that. So next, don't think I didn't think that first thing. So the main event tonight, I don't know why this was the main event. Drew McIntyre and the Street Profits versus Randy Orton, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler with the heels getting a win.
Yeah. I got nothing for you. I'm sorry.
There's nothing to follow the Retribution thing.
What do you want me to like? This was a good match. This is very well executed. Very good talents. We're all in the ring. I will argue the Street Profits got a great grade A lesson on pro wrestling tonight. With the studs they were in the ring with. When you share the ring with studs like that, you have no choice but to improve from it. You learn at least something new, at least one. And so for that, yay. But as far as storylines go, and do I care who won or lost? No.
Yeah, it felt a little anticlimactic, which is saying something given that the Street Profits are so over. Bobby Roode just came back. Randy and Drew.
That said, Randy and Drew are going to be in a Hell in a Cell against Randy's third straight main event title challenge to Drew. I do question, like, how do you get out of it beating Randy again? You
just do. You just do. You have to. Yeah. Right? Because this is, I will argue, if they take the belt off him here, it would have been too premature, because the reason you book someone in Hell in a Cell is because that layer it can add, especially to a newer champion like he still is, or new. I don't want to call him a newer talent, but not a main event level talent that's been there for 10 years, like a John Cena or a Randy Orton. I'll argue they already have those layers that have been given to them over the years with past Hell in a Cells and super physical, brutal matches. He needs this as a baby face. We've seen it from him as a heel. We need to see him dial in that, not heel persona, but that badass that he was when he was a heel, right? When he was, again, just nuking people off the side of the Titantron week after week there for a while. Remember, you guys? And hopefully we get that.
Our Wixlia with Australian 299 saying, Superstar, would you like to see join Retribution?
I couldn't think of a leader. You guys asked us, hey, who you want as a leader? I was like, I got nobody. I can't think of anybody. I think I said, what's his name from SmackDown? Big E. I was like, I'll take Big E.
Well, here's what I think is let's give Ali a month. And if he owns this and shows us all the potential, and that pays off, then we don't need someone else.
They need to help him, though. They need to help him by just tying that loose end. If you connect it to the hacker, then you're going to give him some time. You're going to give him an opportunity to do something with this. Versus, kid, sink or swim. That's what Stephanie used to say all the time. It's time to sink or swim, Matt. And then they give you the microphone. And unless they give him a very good foundation with this, I will argue that's not his fault if it doesn't work. They need to finish this for him and give him every opportunity to get this over. If they tie that loose end, it will. I'm telling you guys, it'll pay huge dividends.
So how real do you think they're going to get with their grievances? Because on Retribution Twitter, they're they're not following Andrew Yang yet on Twitter, but they're
should be
starting to veer. Do you think Ali is going to get out there and be like, "Hey, I got into this because I love professional wrestling. I didn't want Vince McMahon to own me." I mean, like, how real do you think they're going to get with the grievances, given what's going on right now?
They won't touch it. I think they should, though, for what it's worth. I think that'd be pretty cool. Like you said, realistic. Everybody's talking about it, right?
Yeah.
But like Justin's nodding his head, no, because he's correct. They'll be too scared to touch this.
Yeah, I mean, if they were to hit the mark, we would reveal that Paige is funding Retribution.
Ooh.
But they're not going to. So.
Well, they're tweeting they're against corporate greed. Okay, so that's one.
But imagine
that's a. Can I ask a question? Who is for corporate greed?
Corporations, people that own corporations.
There are more people that are against it than for it. Like that's not an original thought.
I mean, but here we go. Why commit to one corrupt billion-dollar corporation? Mace asks on Twitter.
Wait, what? Say again.
Why commit to one corrupt billion-dollar corporation? Like, it's a little generic. You know what this feels like to me?
What? You could go ahead.
I feel like Vince watched like a news report on like a Bernie Sanders rally or an operation I got you. Like he watched one thing and got the talking points from all this.
Probably right.
Yeah, I mean, like it doesn't feel like these aren't the sharpest critiques given what's going on right now and what people are saying about WWE. But again, like this could be great. I mean, and that's like, let me tell you why this would be great if they tie in the real life shit, because it will piss off so many people that it will make this the hottest angle in wrestling.
What do you mean? Who would it piss off? I think the fans would pop for this.
No, and don't you think Andrew Yang and people that are critiquing WWE about the union stuff would be like, and they're parodying real life grievances and I mean, think what they did with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, a passionate environmentalist.
Did you just give you a reason why they can't?
I don't know. I think
do this.
They could. I
wouldn't have thought that until you just said it.
I think they're going to get close, but I think they're going to. I think they're not going to go full. They're not going to say the word union, but they're going to definitely go. I mean, think about it. This started with them talking or alluding to the firings that happened and the people that were cut,
which they've done other times.
Yeah,
but it still feels real when they do that. So I appreciate that. Right.
Yeah,
there's realism in that still, nonetheless, even though they've done it before. I would pop if they did this, if they did do what you're saying. I just don't think they will.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, they got to do something. There's got to be some meat on the bone, or else it's
can't we steal meat on the bone a little bit for a few weeks with Ali?
We can, but he's going to have to, and that's where it gets interesting, though, because if you look at Ali, who has incredibly interesting points of view about race in this country, about his experience as a law enforcement officer, stereotypes. Ali on his social media, like, is so almost professorial in his ability to sort of talk about these things, but yet make them connectable on a human level. So, you have to have a little bit of truth in what they're saying. They can't just come out there and be like, yeah, down with the man. And it's like, what is this, a hot topic in 1999?
Like what you said, because I follow him and see his tweets too. Let him pontificate on this in a new age way. I don't want to say straight up. I don't want to say like straight out racism, but talk about, holding him back. I don't know, just something that needs to be that next level instead of you know what I mean by that.
Again,
his tweets and you see what I'm saying. He's incredibly intelligent with how he gets his points across about what's going on in today's society. He's incredibly intelligent, and he does it in different verbiage. He does it with a different style than most, I'll argue, kids his age, definitely wrestlers his age. And I hope they hone in on that. He's super smart, and I hope they give him an opportunity again to pontificate.
Again, this is where I say, this is where, and to his advantage, had they tried to make him be the Muhammad Hassan, the Middle East terrorist gimmick, he could have came out from that and say, "This is why I'm leading Retribution." They never did that with him. They never even went down the rabbit hole of how he's a police officer. So it's like all we have to go with him is he's the wrestler who was never given the full push to. That's all we have to go with that WWE's told us. He's a wrestler that was never given the full push to. I'm okay with trying to see what happens with him in Retribution, but he should
make the comment that, you know what, WWE, I'm beating you guys to the punch because I know what's next for me. I know what you're going to dress me.
That would be good.
What you're going to have me come out doing back in your 1980s weak ass stereotype angles, and I ain't doing it.
And Matt, I would pop for that if he actually did that. If he said, "I'm going to call you guys out," and said everything I just said, that would be that would be okay. You have my attention here. That's exactly what this gimmick is all about.
They wouldn't do it because they probably wouldn't trust him on with a live mic to go this route. But man, if Lio Rush came back as the lieutenant and started talking about, I didn't get in this business to carry bags for legends, or senior talent,
dude, throw a freaking grenade on the whole building. You give him a live mic with this, he would kill it. He would crush it. And it's money. So we keep hearing to do what's best for business is best for business. That would be amazing.
No, I mean, to me, the trifecta.
I would not have. That's the one. Everyone keeps saying, "Who would you have be the leader?" I'm dead serious right now. Lio Rush could have carried this.
Yeah, I think for me, the three are always Ali, Leo, and Enzo would be the three that would.
Oh, god dang, Glenn.
Yeah. But the Enzo, they wouldn't. I mean,
he'd get annoying after a while. No offense.
Enzo, I don't know.
They would see more potential in Enzo. They would feel like this was
promos,
wasting his talents.
Yeah.
They would feel like this would be like, look, here's the thing. You're telling me that when crowds are back, that if Enzo and Cash show up on Monday Night Raw, like Enzo doesn't need Retribution. Leo never really got over on Raw or SmackDown. He did in NXT and 205 Live, but Enzo I think they would see as bigger than this.
Oh, well, the fans, you mean?
Well, the WWE,
the company.
It's like when we were saying.
So that's better though. That's better to put a more over guy in that group.
But it's like we were talking about, like, oh, dude, what if CM Punk was the leader of Retribution? Okay, thinking about this logically, CM Punk, like, there's so much more money in just CM Punk. He doesn't have to be anywhere near Retribution. You know what I mean?
I think because what's his name has so much heat that this would be a good thing for him to come back to because he'd be helping an entire group out by being their mouthpiece. Enzo. Whereas, you know what I mean? Either way, though, I still want Lio Rush. I want Lio Rush in there with Ali. That would be amazing.
Samurai 07 saying, we didn't even notice. Is Raw
Samurai
Underground
7,
finished?
I hope so, Samurai. I hope so.
Adam Pearce said tonight when he was interacting with Braun, he said, "There's no Raw Underground tonight." So he acknowledged that there was. So
good.
Yeah, I mean, they're moving away from it.
Good. Beat it. Don't come back.
So that was Raw tonight.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
That was Raw tonight. What else do we got before I got to go drill the lock?
Rob is gonna be pissed at me, but I sent no other news items. I figured this is enough of a Raw. We're fine.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. On that note, Wednesday night, Matt Morgan, Sam Adonis? ? Raj, Justin, anyone?
Don't know.
I'm on.
I'll be here. I think Matt and I will be here Wednesday.
I'll be here.
Spaceman 584 $1.99 LHP versus Retribution. Why been years since I watched Hoping More?
Who's LHP?
I don't know. Justin Lopez asking the real questions. Does Ali get a Retribution name? I hope not.
No.
Yes. Okay. On that note, we'll see you back here next time on the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Wish me luck. Good night.